Its first name was called the Puma Crack. Hey guys, welcome back to Kicks I Missed for episode 3. I want to tell you thank you for everyone who's stopping by to watch the channel. If you would just toss me a like or a comment, that would greatly help me get this channel off the ground. I will continue each week to review different shoes and do my best to improve my content, improve the quality of the content as well. Any sort of feedback that you give me right now will greatly help me. Let's go ahead and get started. The Puma Suede. Okay. I know I'm going to get some hate for calling this the Puma Suede, when in fact this is actually the Puma Smash V2. However, this shoe was obviously designed to be kind of an imitation of the actual classic suede, and there are going to be some differences in the outsole, and I think minor differences in the midsole. But overall, it obviously traces its roots back to the suede, and that is why I'm going to refer to it as the suede going forward. If you're a purist, it's okay. Hate me. Leave some hate down in the comments. It's all right. This shoe has had many names, all with minor differences in between those, so I'll call it what I want to. I don't know what it was about Pumas, but I always loved them, man. I always loved the look of the Puma Suedes. I remember kids used to have them back in high school, and some of them were worn by some skater kids, it seemed like, but then it was just kind of like an overall relaxed shoe for a lot of kids. And I don't know, man. I've always loved the look of that logo, man. All just running through there. And I'm a big fan of simple, clean, black and white. Also like wild shoes, but just for like classic shoes, this is fantastic. Always want to see what my little boy thinks. Aiden, stop! What do you think about my Pumas? They're called Pumas. Silly. What do you think about them? Do you like the shoes?
Yeah, they look silly.
Wait. You think they look silly? One of the things I started in the first video was just a point of transparency, even as much as it sucks for me, but it is to kind of give you an idea of, the struggles that someone like myself might actually face inside of some of these shoes that I'm wearing. And so that part of the experience is actually telling you guys what my weight is currently for the week. Unfortunately, for 3 videos straight, this being episode 3, things have went in a downward trend. Well, upward if you're considering the overall weight. So I went up to 258.2, and that is no good. So I'd have to check the weight of the previous video, but it's at least up a pound. And I'm not a big fan of that. So I need to make some drastic changes. So hope for the best, hope for me, pull for me, send me some good vibes, and hopefully I can turn this trend. The Puma Suede was first released in 1968. And it actually has a really interesting history. Its first name was called the Puma Crack to the Clyde. And then it was also known as the Puma States. It was the first shoe explicitly designed to be a lifestyle shoe. Now, the origin of the word crack was actually in the 1950s to the 1970s, apparently, and I wasn't alive then. It was a term that was used to show that you were really at the top of your game, you know, that you were really good at that particular skill. To be called a crack was a very big compliment. In 1971, Puma signed an endorsement agreement with basketball star Walt Clyde Frazier. He wanted a low-style shoe to play in with a new colorway for every game. It was just unheard of. It is alleged that over 390 colors were used. Because of this, the shoe was made out of suede leather, so it was easier to dye. Of course, once Walt Frazier got on board, they nicknamed the shoe the Clyde. Now, at the time, Frazier had a contract with the U.S. distributor, and the Clyde was therefore only available in the U.S. until the end of the 1970s. And once the contract with Frazier ended, the shoe was included in Puma's international collection with a new name. Puma did not have the rights to the name Clyde, and thus the name Suede was used. Now, in the 1980s, the shoe was adopted by breakdancers, and so it entered into hip-hop culture. And in the late 1980s, it was adopted into skateboarding culture as a preferred shoe. Now, at the beginning of the 1990s, Puma UK renamed the suede in their market to States. Now, the reason why they did it was because ultimately they felt like the name suede sucked and it just didn't fit. So it's definitely a shoe with a ton of great history and definitely one worth trying. Traditionally, I try to get some footage throughout the week of me wearing the shoe or me doing something around the house or wherever, whatever I'm doing. I'm working with an old phone to make these recordings with limited storage capacity, so I've remedied that, but unfortunately did not remedy that in time to make a lot of footage. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about my experience with these shoes. The Pumas feel exponentially better than the Sambas do from a comfort standpoint of just when you first slip them on. The suede just feels so much nicer. It still gives you a low to the ground feeling. Traditionally, I'm on my feet a lot. This week was a lot different in that it was primarily just a lot of driving. I know on Monday I put in about 5 hours on the road. Wednesday was like 5.5, and Friday was about 6 hours. And then Saturday, being yesterday, was like 2 hours on the road. The other days I was on the road every day, but I didn't really measure it. Now, out of all of those hours put on the road, I wore this shoe for 100% of those hours, and it never got to a point where it was uncomfortable. And as many as you know, a pair of shoes can wreck your entire travel experience if you're just riding along in them and they feel like crap. With these shoes, they never got to a point where they were uncomfortable. They felt really good. There were quite a few times where I would be at a tool store and I'd be walking for 30 minutes to an hour at a time, and the shoes felt fine, completely fine. You could definitely feel where they're low to the ground. You can feel the ground, you feel the impact more, definitely the modern shoes, but it never got to a point where it was uncomfortable for me. The point at which it felt uncomfortable was when I would be watching my little boy play at a playground, and I'd be standing on my feet for long periods of time. That was not good at all. As a middle-aged, heavy-set guy, wearing the Puma Suedes to stand around in, no. I would not recommend it. However, to take on a casual stroll for 30 minutes or to an hour, and also driving, perfect shoe, super comfortable. Overall, the Puma Suedes gets a thumbs up.
So yes, it is not truly a Puma Suede, and yes, there are going to be some differences. However, this shoe is made by Puma, and it is made out of suede, and it looks like a Puma Suede. What do you expect? As always, I try to take care of my shoes before putting them away for the week. I try to be careful not to get the water in contact with the suede. However, there was a nasty spot on there, and so I needed to take care of that with the damp cloth. If you have any recommendations for cleaning suede, let me know. As always, thank you for watching Kicks I Missed. Stop by next week for episode 4.